Hello and welcome back to Orwell. If you're seeing this video, it's because there was something worth seeing in it. So I managed to fight the game successfully enough to get it to reload a save I backed up from several episodes ago. Of course, there's only one save slot. I've just been manually pulling the file out every once in a while. So I'm now curious whether we can see a somewhat different ending or whether if it's meaningful at all. So I believe what we need to do from here, if we are where I think we are, I just dismiss all this. I believe what we need to do, let's see, is there anything new on here? No, I don't think. I think these are all the old stats. It just loves to reload those new info flags every time. Actually, now that we know a little bit better, so how early, it would be nice to know, just out of curiosity, how early she was looking at the, well, she was, okay, so she was looking at this, at the archived version of the site on the first day. Okay, so I believe what we actually want to do is go to her, no, go to Harrison's contacts and drop her in. And here's our magical thing that just triggers. So I didn't have to drop any of Harrison's other information in. I probably could have gone back to an even earlier save, although the that save was like 2 hours earlier than this one. So the question is 10 data chunks enough to get me where I need to go? So we have her mobile phone now. Now we can look at that. We can get the information. Let's see. Don't think that one's relevant. I don't think that is either. So, we could flag her potential locations. Wait, what's in here? Oh, okay. So these we could have flagged earlier. I mean, this is a reach, though, without the further context that we get from the conversation that has not yet happened. Like, it's a bit of a leap to say that she suggested it. Without that context, it does just feel like a suggestion. It's like, oh, sorry, I forgot that that's a sensitive thing for you, but it is faster. So this is a reach. As with other things that we've talked about, like, they make sense as soon as the game wants them to make sense. Sometimes you can't even touch them until they do. I think that's probably what we want to do. Don't need the portrait. Doesn't tell us who the other person is, though I think it's probably her sister. This is suggesting Sandra Carson being free and plausible by Carrington. Does it open anything else up? So Harrison got arrested, and during the epilogue of our original ending, it didn't say, it said that that Juliet got off, but it didn't say anything about what happened to Harrison. So I'm questioning whether that's going to be the same, and even if we do more to indict Juliet, that if she'll still get away scot-free. Because it didn't even indicate that she was attempted to be arrested in our previous play. So this is leaning more towards the, you know, the authoritarian path. So how quickly can we expose... It doesn't appear... Okay, so our objective is... We don't have the new objective. At any possible hideout locations... So... I don't think this is going to go anywhere until we can make the connection by the things that will be illuminated. Unless can be a potential fail state, which I would be surprised by. What is strange that Carrington rehearsed material on this demiurge. She might be our impersonator. Good, but it's still only one option. Considering we have proof against Harrison O'Donnell, we should primarily go primarily after him. That's shitty. That's the game feeding you the wrong answer deliberately. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And I believe, you'll have to go back in the episodes and check. I believe this text was highlighted in yellow previously because I think because it was basically a branching path. It wasn't like conflicting information. It was a branching path of, do you want to indict what's her nugget? Is this just the... I'm getting you out? Yeah. Don't care. So what happens if I do this early? I mean, this is so weird because of what I keep talking about, that it keeps feeding the data to you in a specific order with specific triggers, even though, like... I mean, I guess you could make the argument that, like... No, you couldn't even. Like, I was gonna say you could make the argument that the name Demiurge comes up here, and therefore it's a reason to connect it to here. But I mean, since Juliet also was looking into that project at Rosentech, and the game's just like, I don't know anything about that, let's not talk about it, until now when it's narratively appropriate. The irony is not lost. This will have consequences for you. What are the consequences? Why is your connection there? Wait, why? Former business. You filled that yourself. So the only way for your character, if it's even possible, the only way for your character to not become flagged by the system, either by the system directly or by Catherine, is if you deliberately pick the information that is not useful. That basically being your all of Harrison's locations and all of Juliet's locations, which, to be fair, does serve the ends that they're looking for, which is just to, you know, stomp out the terrorists, big air quotes. So if you actually dig into the, you know, follow the path where it goes, you know, by virtue of randomly picking the right things to add, those being her fucking phone number. Why is it her phone number that triggers the whole thing? Why? Never mind. So I am now listed as subordinate, and the fucking device is offline. So this won't go online until they have the discussion about it. This is upsettingly canned. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it does suck. So what do we do with our 5 data chunks? I'm gonna say we just give them the 5 location. Fuck you. Give them the 5 locations. Because I don't think any of the other things are interesting or meaningful. And at least it's different than the locations that, or it's a different pathway through the conversation. All right, so here, we're gonna run through this again. This is gonna take, what, 5 minutes or 6 minutes, I think, is the duration of the discussion. We'll see if there's any visible differences. This is mostly going the same. I mean, the idea of this being how hacking works is pretty hilarious. So the question is, will everybody also leave in the same order or at all? Harrison was the first one who got yanked. I believe in the last time we saw the call, and that was theoretically because we gave up his possible positions. And this is so weird because it's like the idea that she'd just feed initiate an IP address and a port, and that's all it would take, or that how she would even get that. I mean, like, presumably if this is some service run in a government data center, then Rosentech IT would probably have no idea how it was ultimately, or very limited scope on how it was ultimately implemented. I mean, that's not how IP addresses work, for one. So, I mean, obviously the government is incompetent in keeping hackers out of their system, but Someone's been setting all of us up. And now for the reveal. What did they find? Who was it? Everything in here points to... Ah, so here's the reveal. It was you. So the game congratulates you for finding the path that it deliberately hid over and over. You told me to plant those bombs. I did. I'm not proud of it. Oh god, why was that so much louder than... I mean, and if Julia... I mean, the thing that was never really addressed about this is that if... Juliet may have told Nina to set up the bombs, but it's unclear from the correspondence we see later whether or not she intended for people to die. She doesn't explicitly say no, but she doesn't explicitly say yes. And given that she also sends a follow-up email where she says she didn't want that to happen, like, it is weird for her to omit a line about, hey, yeah, I told Nina to do it because I thought that was what was necessary, but I never wanted anybody to get hurt. She doesn't come off at any point as a pitiable figure who made mistakes or anything like that. Seems to just be the, you know, overt, aggressive mastermind. So let's see. You didn't convince anybody by your actions, but this gathering. Yes, yes, you're very... I get it. I mean, so something I didn't talk about in the last episode really as directly is just the idea of government surveillance and the exchange between privacy and security, or at least theoretical security. You know, privacy is innate. You don't... it's the absence of an intrusion, right? So... the idea, we all, you know, it's we all sacrifice elements of our freedoms and privacies in order to ensure that there is a reasonable balance of a fair and equitable society for us all to live in. But, hold on a second. So this is almost, I think this has got like 30 seconds left. So, you know, this narrative being as unsubtle as it is, the idea of, you know, even if it was well-intentioned, a system in which all communications is open for direct surveillance is, while unsubtle, not exactly outside the realm of some of the discussions that are ongoing. However, that is what kind of pisses me off the most about this game, is that the this is going longer. Is it not? I thought it went for like 5 minutes and 50 seconds in the previous one. So Joseph still reports Harrison. So is Harrison still going to get pinched first? I am curious if Nina can survive. I sort of doubt it. If the investigator didn't know any better. We can trust this person. 1 vote to trust the investigator. So that's different from the last time, and that's basically only because I made some screw-ups, but I only found Juliet as the ultimate culprit, which isn't really... I mean, that's the only sign of remorse right there, basically. So, like... I thought this service would never end. In real world terms, there's lots of nuance to these things that is obviously going to be lacking in here. Some of the most high, visible stuff on this front has been some recent, terrorism suspects and things who have had their, devices seized, like their iPhones specifically, and then, a judge or either via subpoena or something or other. I think the NSA and the FBI have also made individual requests to get one-time encryption reversal on devices. But in the IT space, the view is if you make it at all reversible, even if you think you hold the one key, the fact that you made a key at all is a failure for security, because it could be broken at some point, it could be lost or distributed. It's ultimately the security is paramount, and there have been more technical, so there's been some more technical things historically where, for example, it came out after the fact that the NSA, for example, has had been able to decrypt certain encryption algorithms and encryption ciphers used in network communication for a lot longer than it was initially believed, either by brute force or, some sort of known exploit that was not released into the wild for much longer than it was known. This perpetual issue in IT security is just how well do we know when there is a problem, and how quickly can it be remediated, and how broadly can it be remediated. At time of filming, there's a very big issue with a module called log4j, which is it's a, how do I describe this in non-technical things? It's on everything, basically. It's a program that's basically on tons of servers, tons of devices, and has a very high level exploit. It's one of the only class 10 exploits I've ever seen, and it's on everything. And normally a severe exploit's a 4 or 5. And these are the kinds of things that you think about, is who has been exploiting this, for how long? Are governments or either domestic or foreign leveraging these things for their own means. And if they are, what are they doing with that information? You know, for all the malware and like, since most of the time when you deal with security, it's usually ransom or stolen data or something else. It's for profit, essentially. But when it comes to governments, more often than not, it's for the information itself. And the hope is that we all foster societies, countries, nation states, whatever, in which a modicum of privacy is respected while enough is given to still keep the people of a nation secure. But it's a tenuous balancing act, that's for sure. Anyway, I've rambled for too long on this. It bums me out that they do nothing to explore any of the more real-world technical side of these things. I feel like they got very caught up in their ham-fisted narrative that they were trying to tell, which is unfortunate. So what triggered the ending last time was for me to was it scanning her? I think it was scanning her phone. So this time I can get at her PC. It won't gather much from a switched off PC. Goodbye, investigator. You're not supposed to read this. Ah, nice. So if you click it fast enough, you actually get into the file. Hilarious. Okay, can I still get at her phone? And if not, how does this end? Oh, she's over here. Right. Okay. Did she leave her phone on? I mean, you'd think if she was gonna if she was going to, no, her phone is still on. Okay. Weird. Yeah, I was gonna say, if her phone was off, that would be extra crazy just because in the previous iteration, she still knew that we knew what was going on. And yet she kept the phone on. Was it this? Was this what triggered it? Did I submit? Maybe this is... Oh, maybe it's yellow because it's literally the thing that ends the game. don't think any of these have meaningful information in them. Except for that one. So... we could... I don't feel good about this, but I'm kind of curious what happens. And how far it goes. It makes no new connections. Okay, once he's on Rosentech. But he's just an intern. We know he's still in the country. They still arrested Harrison. They haven't arrested Juliet. How the fuck did they... So... Joseph tips them off to Harrison. Is there something I could have done to tip them off to Juliet more deliberately? I mean, we saw the thing that basically said, we don't care about Juliet as much, focus on Harrison. Which is fucked up, but... Is there anything we can get out of this by... I mean, what does this even do? Because we know this shit's wrong. Like... As long as we're here, we might as well see how far this goes. Do we have any information about Winston? So... we know this is not true because these are fake. Because they're after his death. Hold on, actually... we're gonna check these. Is there anything in here? Why is this not... What do you mean? What profile is it supposed to go in? Mine? Oh, right, yeah, okay. Sorry, I was skimming too fast. Is there... when was the last time it saved? just a moment ago. Okay. Let me copy this file. Because I don't think I'm going to go back again, but I am curious enough to be like, what happens if I put all these things in versus don't put any of them in? I'm not going to put any of this in. But I am going to hold on to it. Because if my name doesn't even come up at the end of the cutscene, as if I omit, because I only put the one entry in before. But that was probably enough. I'm wondering if it's nuanced enough to go, we don't have any information to suggest they might know anything, so... And I could put Juliet's thing in here. I could put either of these in here, and... But this is just not true. I still don't understand why the system doesn't have a way for me to... Like, the system knows that Gunther is dead. So it should be flagging this as a contradiction. Because it's not possible. And also because we also know that Juliet's been the one with the access to the computer. I don't suppose... Cassandra... Yeah. Anything new from either of these? I highly doubt it. Nope. So I could dump those in, but why bother? Yeah, I mean, this is pretty underwhelming. So I think the answer is still... Oops. I think it's the upper one that will trigger the ending here. Yeah, that... Okay, so either one of those pulls the ending. Presumably the other yellow one from Abraham's thing. I mean, that's so lame. I'll probably still post this anyway. Why not? Does any of this change? No evidence. Fuck you, no evidence. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily... Well, I don't know. She should still be prosecuted for her, you know, inciting violence and stuff like that, but probably not treated as a traitor or whatever. So am I still... Is my only option still to turn myself in? None of the other buttons do anything. That's so lame. I really get the feeling it thinks it's being poignant, and it's just not. It's pretty lame. Anyway, you've already heard my reflections. I don't think any of them have changed. Thanks for watching one more episode, if you were curious like I was, or if you didn't, that's fair enough too. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you for something different next time.